My name is Jeremiah Smith, and I am the Executive Director of the Rosedale Freedom Project.
Okay. First question. What made you want to found the Freedom Project?
I had the opportunity to teach high school here in Rosedale, and taught here for 2 years with the Teach for America program. And during that time, I was consistently blown away by my students' abilities, but was also really struck by the degree to which they didn't have opportunities to exercise those abilities. So I had creative students who didn't have any art classes. I had musical students who didn't have any music class. I had leaders who were not given opportunities to lead in their communities and be a part of decision making at the school or in their town. And that was really frustrating because I saw so much potential in my students that was really not. I saw so much potential in my students that was untapped in a way. It's not like the students weren't talented in and of themselves, but it's like they could have been so much more empowered if they'd had the right opportunities.
What work did you have to do to find the Freedom Project?
Ooh-wee. I had to stomp around Rosedale and introduce myself to a bunch of strangers. You work at the school, you meet a lot of parents, but you don't realize how few people you actually know. You think it's a small town, so you think, yeah, I'm a common face, and I feel like I stick out at the school. Like white guy, young guy, not from around here. But no, like I knew a fraction of Rosedale's people, and so a lot of it was like introducing myself to middle school parents, getting to know the administrators at the middle school because I worked at the high school, and then really just getting to know kids. And the other thing was figuring out the formula for this work, like what exactly do kids want to have and what opportunities they want to have, and also like how can you create a space where kids can be really in charge, because that doesn't happen at the schools here, and in fact it doesn't happen at a lot of schools, and so really the work was in figuring out the right way to give kids opportunities and to get kids excited about the Freedom Project, and to have kids like really define what the Freedom Project is, so that it's not like adults telling kids what the Freedom Project is, but it's like kids being like, this is what we want, this is what we're gonna work for.
What did those strangers do when you met them? How were their exact actions?
Yeah, I mean, some of those strangers were super welcoming and were like, you want to do something for our kids? Like, heck yeah, come on in. But some strangers were really skeptical. I mean, I'm like not from around here. Like I got a lot of people asking me like, why? Why are you here? Why do you care? What do you get out of it? So a lot of people were really skeptical about that, and I don't blame them, honestly, because there's like a long history of people who look like me and sound like me coming in to Rosedale and not doing right by people. So it makes sense that people were skeptical, and I got a lot of those reactions, but it's been a really cool process over the years to like figure out what my place is in this community, and to figure out like what are the boundaries. I mean, there are some things that I'll just never get. Like I didn't grow up in Rosedale, and so there are a lot of things that I just have to be like, okay, I trust you that you understand this community better than I do. And then there are other things where I have to figure out how to express myself, how to say what I'm trying to say without there being misunderstanding about my intentions or my motivations or what I want for kids. And that's been a cool process because I've grown a lot. And I think like the skeptical people in Rosedale, the people who are like, what are you all about? Are you for real? Those people have really challenged me to be more for real and to be more upfront and to like figure out what I am about.
What have you learned from the progress you have made?
Yeah, I have learned that when we talk about students being the future, that is not just words. Like that is for real. That is, I mean, the profundity of that statement is often lost on people, where they think like, oh yeah, students are the future because they're young and they're going to get old and then they'll be in charge. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no. What's so powerful about that statement is that like you guys see the world in a way that I will never be able to see it. because you see the future. You were born in the future. Like I was born, almost 15 years before you were born. And so like my world is so much older than your world. And you are of the world today. And so you can see how the world of today works in a way that I can't see. You understand where the world needs to go in a way that I can't. And I think that's even more powerful because I get to work with young people of color. And I think young people of color see this country for what it is in a way that I don't, because I don't experience the other end of it. So like I can understand police brutality, but I can't understand the kind of visceral reaction that a person of color has when they see a police officer. I can understand segregation in the abstract, but I can't understand it in the lived way that students can understand it, that y'all can understand it. And so y'all have this unique ability to like tear that down. Like, and I feel really lucky to be a part of that. I feel really lucky to be able to connect you with opportunities that allow you to do what you want to do. I feel really lucky to maybe pass on some skills like about filmmaking or about reading or whatever. But most of all, I feel lucky to like be along for the ride as you guys change the world, because that's super cool. And I have so much faith that y'all are some of the most radical thinking, some of the most brilliant kids on the planet, and all you need is the opportunity to exercise that stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Those are all my questions.
Great. Thanks, dude.
Okay, what is your least favorite thing about West Baldwin Middle School and why?
Them bugs, because them bugs and the lunch lady when they don't wear hairnets, because when they don't be wearing them hairnets, the hair be getting all up in our food, and the roaches, because when we bring snacks to school, they be crawling all up in our backpack or crawl on us or just crawl everywhere. We don't like them bugs because they be crawling all up on the wall. Then next thing you know, if the bug touch you or anything, them kids gonna start talking about you. Say you a roach, your family had came to you or something like that. Remodel the school.
Why would you want to remodel it?
Because it's just like tore down by now. See, the gym, it's not in good shape no more. Like you go up the bleachers, you hear creaks and stuff. Feel like you're finna fall in, but
you got crickets,
roaches, rats. But that be the only thing I change.
and the smell, like the smell of the gym and the bathroom. So
Did West Baldwin Middle School show the 4 lead principles?
No, because they just fight, cause they'll never listen to what the teacher's saying and other things like that.
Do you think West Baldwin Middle School is giving you the proper education you need to succeed in life?
I know, truly and honestly, no. Like right now, I could be on about an 8th grade level. It's just the teacher that teaching probably still teach the 6th grade level to me. That we should have learned in 6th grade.
At school sometimes I go through maybe like I hear some of my other classmates being bullied and I stand up for them, and then as I get here, but here it's different. It's like no bullying, it's just like a calm environment, it's like a peaceful environment, so it's way different than school wise.